The year of 1967 is my all-time favorite year in music history and an experimental peak in the world of art. Throughout the Summer of Love, many bands like the Beatles excitedly championed new ideas and foreign sounds in their music. They released two groundbreaking LPs that year, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Magical Mystery Tour, arguably their two most experimental albums. They're full of lush orchestration, Indian instruments, spiritual chanting, and real drugged-up, wacky song ideas from the boys that make them both extraordinarily entertaining albums over 55 years later. During this time, John Lennon was especially keen on the hallucinogenic drug LSD, which helped inspire him to meticulously craft classic psychedelic rock hits, such as Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Strawberry Fields Forever, I Am the Walrus, and my personal favorite song of all time and the incredibly powerful closer of Sgt. Pepper's, A Day in the Life. Primarily written by John, A Day in the Life is one of the greatest Lennon-McCartney compositions and a brilliant example of their mutual inspiration. It's an incredible melding of two completely different songs and brains at the same time. Something about Lennon's echoed vocals on this song are bone-chilling. He sings about a normal day in his life. He reads the newspaper and finds out his Guinness Air friend died in a car crash. He goes to the premiere of a movie he was in that gets bad reviews. And Great Britain is up to some nonsense. I love his eerie delivery of the line, "I'd love to turn you on," which was actually written by McCartney and hilariously got this song banned by the BBC because it could encourage a permissive attitude to drug taking, which it arguably did. On the line, McCartney said, "It was the time of Tim Leary's turn on, tune in, drop out, and we wrote, I'd love to turn you on." John and I gave each other a knowing look. It's a drug song, you know that, don't you? Yes, but at the same time, our stuff is always very ambiguous, and turn you on can be sexual, so come on. The song is an attempt to turn you on through psychedelic music, mind-expanding drugs, and sexual innuendo. Before Paul's middle segment, we get the first orchestral crescendo. John told George Martin, "I want it to be like a musical orgasm. I want it to start from absolutely nothing and increase in tremendous tension and build up to the most overpowering sound you've ever heard in your life." George Martin had every instrument in the orchestra start at their lowest note, and then over 24 bars climb to their highest note near an E major chord. However, instead of a grand payoff, we're teased with having to start the day again and get ready for school. Paul's middle chunk is fun and nostalgic as he recalls his younger years riding the bus and smoking. Mysteriously, after McCartney finishes the middle eight, accounts differ as to which Beatle is singing the Oz in the transition. To me, it sounds like John, but it's a fun moment showcasing two of the greatest musical voices and minds melding together. After the second crescendo, we get one of the most famous and beautiful final chords in music history. After such a roller coaster of an album and two grand orchestral builds, it's the ultimate payoff and an orgasmic musical climax to Sgt. Pepper's. Played on several pianos at the same time, author Jonathan Gold describes it as a 40-second meditation on finality that leaves each member of the audience listening with a new kind of attention and awareness to the sound of nothing at all. The chord was also the inspiration for George Lucas's annoyingly loud THX deep note that plays before his movies. At one point after the final chord, the track included the entire orchestra and band chanting "Aum" at the same time in synchronized enlightenment. This song is so awesome and meta. I also love how it all happens after the show ends. As Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the album, and the fake band say goodbye to us in the title track reprise, the opening chords start to strum. For the encore, we come back to reality with John and Paul, not as members of Sgt. Pepper's or even the Beatles, but just as people. I love how John sings so cold and direct just about his daily life. He understood, in a world so constantly shifting and chaotic, the most interesting and sustained thing he could capture is the everyday life and moment around him, a day in the life of John Lennon. It's an awesome snapshot of a moment in time when the past and future seem to collide so directly with classic and rock instruments. It's an awe-inspiring way to end the LP and has certainly helped cement Sgt. Pepper's as one of the greatest albums of all time. Thanks for watching. For more content like this, hit like and subscribe.